sir, like a seeker or something. No, he just kicks the footy around real good.
Was that an off-pod conversation we had about how dumb Quidditch is?
Well, we could have that conversation again if you want, because it's the dumbest fucking
What are you talking about? It's awesome.
Maybe it's a hack bit now. I don't know, but it is a dumb fucking sport.
I've heard a million different iterations of, well, you just catch the snitch. You just gotta catch the snitch. You win the game. It's a dumbass sport.
Okay, what do you think would be worse? Spending like the equivalent of like $300 or $400 magic bucks to go to like the Quidditch World Cup and then have it over in like 3 minutes, or have it go for like 6 months?
Dude, did you see those parties around the cup? I think your last problem is that the game went for 2 minutes, because you're getting lit outside of that,
Yeah, I
that
guess so.
game.
Everyone gets all fucked up. The game ends in like 8 minutes. All of a sudden, everyone starts getting rowdy, starts shooting out skull symbols into the sky, starts killing the half-breeds. Like, it's a bad time if you don't really give the people what
Magical
they want.
tailgates are just like...
But then can you say like, oh, the game is going 3 months long. I can't come back to work, sir.
That would be awesome. Like, yo, Steve can't come in because he's at that World Cup game and it still hasn't ended.
I mean, it's an entire society based on like little Lord Fauntleroy gods who are all like, they all have the like actual education, like not like the magical education, but like the actual intelligence of like 6th graders. They all get pulled out of like regular learning at the age of like 9
All he learns
to learn
is
how to
magic.
flick their wrists the right indentation. So like, yeah, of course they're all gonna be dumb as posts.
I mean, they're also learning how to make poisons and shit, so...
I mean, like, I always thought about Draco Malfoy, like, being, like, if he was really a bad boy in a regular British school, he'd be, like, you know, copying ecstasy and, like, going out to raves at night and shit. Like, he's kind of a dick to Harry and his friends. That's what makes him the bad guy.
What's the worst thing that he actually does?
Does he murder somebody or just his dad does?
he murders Dumbledore, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't.
He's
But that's
supposed
different.
to. He's
Look, we all
supposed
know
to.
who killed Dumbledore, okay?
In fact, he gets a redemption arc in the end. He marries, like, one of the other Slytherin girls and has a kid that hangs out with Harry's kid, and they're all chill.
Why couldn't he end up like Dudley or something?
A chav?
He were living with his parents and not accomplishing much.
Well, I mean, isn't that
Just
what...
another in a long line of fictional fail sons.
Exactly, yeah.
What did rich princes do in like inbred families like that?
I mean, like they try to
don't
become
have beer.
vampires so that they can
Oh,
live
right,
forever.
yeah, I get that.
And I'm gonna take your blinds down because it's...
I also think that Malfoy should have been a little bit inbred.
Oh, I think they are. Like, isn't there a comment at some point in the third book? I think it's either in the book that Sirius dies in, where they're like, oh, you're related to this family. It's like, yeah, there's only like 3 magical families, and like in order to keep your blood pure, there's a lot of crossing of them back and forth and back and forth.
But then like Malfoy should have shown up first year, been like, Harry Potter, should hang out with me. I'm such a good boy. And Harry's like, wow, your forehead is huge, dog.
Draco's got a real case of Habsburg chin. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, unless there's like a magic spell that like cures DNA deficiency. I don't know.
I mean, he should have stuck around long enough until like the 2010s, because that's when rappers started talking about Dracos as the pistol grip AK-47.
Oh yeah,
tanks.
but they wouldn't know about that because that's Muggle shit.
Oh, that's right. Same how they don't like do drugs or anything because like just have their special spells that can make them feel anything or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't really talk about the fun shit in Harry Potter at any time, do they?
Yeah, like where's the boner wand or whatever?
I mean, Char and
Is anyone fucking, like, they talk about like romance in some aspects, but like you don't hear like even like any furtive talk about just like, oh, that boy over in Ravenclaw fucks.
Char and I were talking about this, how there's definitely got to be a spell in that school for teenage pregnancy.
I am sure Cedric Diggory fucked.
Well, I mean, first of all, definitely Cedric fucked. Like, second of all, like they have fucking like rape drugs and shit. It's called a love potion. They have love potions in that goddamn universe.
Yeah, they teach you how to make them in like second year.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
Ron got...
That's like learning in 10th grade chemistry. Like, here's how to make Rufalin. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Ooh.
Yeah, Ron got roofied in Half-Blood Prince, I think.
And one of those.
Well, that's like almost like a mythological trope, though, isn't it? Though, like, what if I could just give someone a spell that would make them love me? You know?
It's bad. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's a bad time thing to do to somebody.
And then Slugworth was like, yeah, it's hilarious. I'll give you guys this magic luck spell. It'll be fine. You can cheat on all your spells.
The luck spell, which is just about the most... Aside from giving the ability to control time to a 13-year-old girl, the luck spell had to be one of the dumbest things, like the most like universe-breaking things.
I also like how it turned on Slugworth, because he then got tricked into telling Harry that he fucking told Voldemort what the Horcruxes are.
It's a powerfully unsafe school.
It's like what could go wrong, kind of. Like, what could go wrong with any of this stuff? Like,
Well, I mean, like it's probably better for the kids, honestly. Like it's better than like the helicopter parenting of these days modern wizards.
Why don't they just let magic die? Like, what is magic actually being used for? Like, is it actually a net benefit to the world somehow?
And so they can send notes in their office by paper airplanes.
Oh,
Yeah. It's really communication efficiency.
I feel like, and I might be making this up, and also if we want to just have an entire hour talking about how bullshit Harry Potter is, we can do that.
I think we're already like halfway there, aren't we?
Yeah, but I mean, like I feel like there have been like vague like allusions to the fact that like the magical world has connections to the world. Like it's actually kind of like this fucked up Illuminati thing where like all the magic people kind of like it's like the triple parentheses wizards that control the world kind of shit.
I mean, that's why the new one, the Magical Beasts one, was so dope as hell, because like Hogwarts and the Ministry are like separated from England, but like the Boston police are like integrated with the wizards and shit, and they're like actually running around the streets.
When is that movie
stuff.
set?
Like the 50s, I think?
1920s.
That's kind of cool.
wow,
Definitely
yeah.
during the 20s.
I like that.
I didn't like that movie.
I never
honestly.
saw it, but
No.
Oh, I love seeing magic in city.
I like the set building and things that they do, but I didn't like any of the characters. I thought whatever was going on was just kind of whatever.
that's Eddie Redmayne in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a watch commercial that he was doing for like, I don't know, a watch company, and he just looked like a giant freckle. Like he just looked like one giant freckle.
I mean, that's the greatest compliment you can give a British person, to be fair. All right, you guys ready to go?
Yeah,
Pop it.
I've been ready since the beginning of that conversation.
I walk it like I talk it. So yes.
All right, this is Super Hopped Up, fair podcast about all things wizard and magic. I'm your host, Chris Norris-Jones. I'm your head wizard, Chris Norris-Jones. Sitting here is our teacher of potions, Mr. David Beebe.
Hello.
Our defense against the dark arts prof, Mr. Michael Parker.
Expelliarmus.
And the champion of divination himself, Mr. Kelly Wright.
I'm seeing a lot of misfortune in your future.
What does that make Norris, guys? The illusion.
Oh, I'm the headmaster.
The headmaster.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
No,
Absolutely.
he's the groundskeeper.
Hell yeah. I'm 8 feet tall and crazy.
You're the brain master. Sorry, one last thing. Like a boys' dorm like prank where they both give two guys love potions and then like tell them later how gay they are.
Oh, you know there would be pranks like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Fred and George were the only ones pulling pranks. Also, where the fuck did they learn to make like magical teeth that chatter and like chatter at people and bite them and shit like that? Like, are they teaching that at Hogwarts?
They learned it from the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like side note, Fred and George, total socialists in real life. That's how they would, if Harry Potter was real, that's how they would go. You all know it.
See, I've never read Harry Potter. I've seen like half the movies. I don't know who Slugworth is. I don't know who Fred and George is. Like Sirius, I think is the same as Snape, but I might be wrong.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
And also, Fred and George were like the first two characters that you meet. Pretty
Yeah.
much. That
They're the
aren't
twins?
Harry- Yeah,
Who are Fred and George?
they're
I have no
Ron's
fucking-
older brothers.
They're Ron,
yeah.
There's some
okay.
of Ron. They're the twins. They're Ron's older
Yeah.
twin
They're
brothers.
the other Rons.
He's got two other older brothers. However, he's got Bill, who
Yeah.
is, I believe, the
Dragon
No, he's got
Master.
three older brothers.
yeah. There's Bill and Charlie. Charlie's the dragon guy. Bill is like an Auror. I
There's
guess.
also
Yeah.
Percy.
And then Percy, who's like the dweeb that
Also,
that almost turns evil.
yeah, he's the Quisling. This shit sucks. Why don't we talk about this?
It's very topical. With the new movie coming out.
Is there a new movie coming
Is
out?
there?
Yeah.
they're gonna ride that horse
wait,
till
like-
it dies.
Like full name Harry Potter,
No, it's like the
Fantastical Beasts,
the
and
shit that Slugworth did or something like that. That's the
Fantastical
working
Beasts
title.
is
the Slugworth
The
side
shit.
movie. Yeah, okay.
Good for
Look,
a
we got-
very
look, we-
memorable character that was definitely in.
Why
more-
don't they just make Hermione Granger? Like she, I think, is probably the most popular actress out of that gang, and the
I would
most
love
popular
to see
character out of that gang.
future
probably.
feminist Hermione Granger. That would be great.
Well, no, I don't want to talk about Harry Potter feminism. I just decided.
That's yeah.
Moving-
that's,
moving
all
right along.
Let's kill that one. Let's kill that one in its crib. So how y'all doing? How's everyone feeling this beautiful week?
Still kind of sick. I had the flu for
Man,
an
yeah,
entire week.
You got absolutely dismantled by that virus.
Yeah, my lungs are still filled with crud right now, so if I cough, hopefully it doesn't bother you people, but...
That's all right. We'll do the best we can to get rid of it.
What we refer to in the business as a productive cough.
Oh,
I turned 30 today, so I feel terrible.
nice.
Well, yeah.
Happy birthday,
That's a good one.
You're starting your
Oh.
perpetual cough.
We're here on your...
Yeah, perpetual cough. Probably like all my joints are gonna click when I get up. I don't know what else. I'm just gonna my face will just get redder and redder.
Well, that's the alcoholism.
Oh right, okay, that's actually manageable.
It started happening to me in like the mid-20s though, so
My breasts will enlarge over time.
The hair's just gonna keep going away and then growing
yeah.
other places.
Yeah, that's the thing is like being high tea like that in all the worst ways.
Is it like what's it called? Like second puberty or something like that?
I don't think it's called second puberty.
Did you just make that up? Because that kind of rules.
No, that's a thing. It's from a webcomic I read or something.
Second puberty, just as good as the first time.
I think it's called being Mediterranean. I think that's what that is. You have hair in weird places.
Well, congratulations, Dave.
Thank you.
Soon it'll all be over.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
here's hoping.
You got a long 5 or 6 years ahead of you.
Yeah, we laugh, but
Yeah.
what are we drinking, yo? This is actually a really good beer.
Yeah. So this week, it was Kelly's turn, but I owed Kelly one because I roped him into doing some interview thing for a school project I had. So I wrapped the beer this week. This is Whistler Brewing's Chestnut Ale, a pretty little limited edition ditty from the Whistler Brewing Co. I picked it because I liked the color of the bottle. It's got this kind of orange thing. I didn't even know what it was going to taste like. Turns out it's pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah.
delicious.
I've I'm surprised we haven't had this one on because Whistler is a BC brewery, but no, it is really good. I drink this in my spare time as well.
I like Whistler Brewing a lot, actually. Yeah, they're kind of like a good standard.
Yeah.
They're, I guess, are they even craft? Like, what's the definition of craft anymore?
Oh, I mean, who
It's
knows?
a spectrum.
Yeah.
I think I'm only kind of being facetious about that. Like, there's anything from like just a brewery that has just one beer that just started essentially to, like, I guess you could even kind of consider something the size of Parallel 49 still a craft brewery. Like, they're like breweries about that size still like get sold as craft brews.
It's almost identical to the conversation about what is an indie game anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's true. Actually, yeah.
Triple indie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
so
know, it-
EA has published this beer, this indie craft brew.
Well, I mean, all that stuff just kind of gets like squashed and sublimated because big companies start to get into it, right? So that's why
Yeah.
like, indie rock became meaningless like 10, 15 years ago. Like it doesn't really mean anything.
yeah, just because you're not with one of like the few major labels doesn't mean you're not still supported by like a multi-million-dollar
Yeah.
industry. Like,
Or
company.
I mean, a lot of them are really good at hiding it, right? Like, I mean, you have to actually look up Hogarten, which we had on last week, to find out that it's Anheuser-Busch, Bevco, or whatever, right?
So which
Yeah.
major beer company has sponsored Whistler Brewing Co. now?
That's the thing, is like I don't even know if I want to look it up, but like I'm sure InBev probably owns half the things we've ever drank on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, Granville Island is a good example because that's Coors or Molson.
Molson and Coors.
I thought that Granville Island. Oh, yeah, but in turn is Anheuser-Busch, aren't they?
Molson Coors? No, I think Molson Coors is actually.
Like the two big are like Molson and Coors. They shacked up. That's a thing. And then Anheuser-Busch, otherwise known as InBev, like that's the other big one. It's like the Budweiser people and the Molson people. They basically own, like, I want to say in like North America, something to like half to 2/3 of the market share.
Yeah.
Which is actually going down. I remember it being like way worse than that in like the turn of the century.
I really
but-
think that craft beer has taken off in like the last decade. You look at, I mean, the craft beer sections at liquor stores are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think people are just kind of fed up of drinking the.
It seems like it's mostly like an East Coast thing though, because when I went to Montreal, like Char's entire family was like, "Oh, what is this delicious nectar you have brought us?" And I'm like, It's Stanley Park Brewing, and they're like, "Oh, it's not Coors or anything like that." I'm like, "No, it's a craft beer." It's like,
so it's
and then it was passed around like
so
a
it's
joint.
it's not that big on the East.
No, and as far as I know, unless like her family is just isolated from
I
the
think
whole
it's slowly
experience.
catching up because I mean, like the town of Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia, has their own brewery now. I
That's
drove by it.
Oh, yeah,
They
that's
have-
right.
They have like 300 people there. I don't know.
I forgot about the Newfies.
They're not
Yeah.
Nova Scotians are not Newfies.
I just wonder if
And they're on an island.
The huge guys listen to this. You can't say
Look,
stuff
I'm starting
like
to think that Quebec is just like as usual about 30 to 40 years behind the rest of Canada. Like they'll get craft beers in a while.
First of all, when you say Nova Scotia, I think flyover country. Second of all, I think like the issue that we're sort of stuck in is we're sort of in, I want to call it a craft beer bubble. Like Vancouver has been really about that hipster craft beer shit for a good long while, and it seems like everyone else is kind of catching up, as you said, Dave. But like just because we think the norm is you can go into a BCL and see just like a shit ton of stuff, it probably actually is just the same like big big market brewers like kind of putting the same stuff out. Like at least it looks like it's like a different craft selection.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's necessarily like ubiquitous.
I just want to be the kid that's living in the interior with all my friends drinking their like bush beer, and I'm like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Probably happier. That's
I'm gonna have an artisanal IBA.
And you're gonna get like torn apart by those Albertan boys.
like it's like that's the thing is just like at the end of the day, like the people who I'd rather drink with the people who are just like, yeah, let's just have a beer. And the guys who are just like, you're drinking an unhopped, mass-produced beer? What do you even? Why would you do that to your taste bud? Like I
carry
people
around
so much.
I carry around this steel bin everywhere I go, so that the first sip I have of beer, I can spit it out and let the aroma and the
It's possible to enjoy good beer without being a dick about it. Let's just
there
all
is.
agree that is possible. And if somebody genuinely enjoys,
I got sneered at once for ordering a Blue Buck, which is like a pretty common
come
beer
on,
at any
Blue
bar.
Buck's good.
And someone was like, Blue Buck?
They're-
And I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. Like, look, if you can get the same thing that I get from like good beer out of buying just cans of Molson Canadian, then like good on you. You're saving a lot of money. Like that's
Maybe it's safe to say that people who hate on other people's decisions just for random for no real good reason, maybe they just suck. Maybe that's the
exactly.
coda to this entire thing.
that's the secret, Norris. We all kind of suck.
On that note,
Yeah.
in a related topic, video games.
Yes.
Hey guys, I bought Ni no Kuni 2 a couple of days ago.
Was
and
that-
on the spirit of giving, I need you all to not be mean about it and be nice to me
Look,
and say good things
we all-
and how much
we-
you love me and,
we all
and believe in
warned
my
you.
decisions.
we all warn you, and I think it's just one of those things that when you inevitably have buyer's remorse, it just you can't expect us to be there for you.
That's
That's it. That's it. No, like I'm like here.
Mike, you're my friend. I hope you're always there for
I'm
me.
here-
I'm always there for you.
Guys, I can't believe that popular Fortnite streamer said Ni no Kuni 2 on stream.
Oh, do you want to talk about that? Yeah, that's probably
No,
a better
back to Ni no
Yeah.
Kuni making
yeah.
fun of you for it.
So have you actually gotten a chance?
No,
to
because like there's not much other than that. Like I just wanted to say, hey, like I got Ni no Kuni 2. The reason I got it, and this will last for another couple of days, even after this podcast comes out, is I put a link up on our WhatsApp. I might even put it up on the Discord. If you are a PS4 owner, Sony did a deal with the Ubisoft guys where if you watch their dumbass video, you get like
Hold
a
on.
20% discount.
I'm gonna stop you right now. Is that I looked at that and all the vouchers have been expended, so that deal is no longer going on.
Oh, then never mind. Y'all, fuck y'all.
No,
I-
sorry. Yeah, you know what? I went on that because I wanted to buy something today, and it's unfortunately it's expired.
Norris
Oh, that
just wanted to
sucks.
gloat that he saved money on Ni no Kuni.
It wasn't that much. It was like 20%. So
It was like a free game.
I saved $11 buying
20% 's not bad.
a child's game.
Listen, all I'm going to say, Norris, is before I leave, I'll hook you up on your PS4 with the login credentials for our YouTube channel so that then when you want to start playing Ni no Kuni, you can start streaming and feel productive.
That is your penance
There.
for this stupid like years long thing that's happened with Ni no Kuni now.
Oh, God,
where you
like-
you were under its spell. You were just completely entrapped by this game that's not that good.
See, here's the reason why that fills me full of fear is because that there's either two roads that comes from. Either one, I need to rope one of you fuckers into playing Ni no Kuni 2 with me, or two, I have to sit alone in this room while Cat's like doing other things, hearing me talk into the void. Play this child's game.
we can
and just
brand
not
it.
be particularly entertaining.
Does she not want to be your co-pilot on that one, or is that not something
No,
she's?
Cat is an adult.
We can just brand it that it's Norris stares at Ni no Kuni for 24 hours straight.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to just like dead stare at the TV and like make very few movements the entire time.
I don't care.
well,
I
maybe.
manage the good content. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want with the streaming content.
All right.
No, nobody makes archives of that stuff, do they?
Almost exclusively.
Oh.
No, the only ones who don't are us when we do the fucking Metal Gear Marathon.
Oh, nice. Good job, guys.
Good. Speaking of good content, we started our A Way Out LP when we're recording this, but its second episode is coming out when this actually comes out.
Okay, yeah.
So, how is that? I guess I'll look at Dave because Dave, you and Shah are playing.
Yeah. So
Yes.
all I know about this game is that it's forced co-op. Essentially, like that's all I know.
Yeah,
So-
Dave
so
did not
go-
want to play with
please,
Shar, and vice versa, but I forced them together to co-op this game.
I had to explain to Kelly like 3 times that like the predecessor game Brothers was not in fact a co-op game. It was a co-op game you play with yourself.
It's co-op if you have a friend grab the other side of your controller. The way that the
developers intended.
yeah,
That seems horrific.
it was fun. I played it with somebody.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Like I just thought you were being sarcastic.
No, it's a lot easier to coordinate.
Jesus.
Imagine playing Overcooked by yourself.
How is it easier to coordinate with somebody else?
Brothers would be absolutely perfect for the Nintendo Switch because the
Oh.
fucking Joy-Me's or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Joy-Me's.
The
Joy-Me's.
Joy-Cons.
What are they
The
called?
Enjoy Me's.
The stick trollers, the comm sticks.
Yeah, those things.
God, now what are they called? The Wiimotes?
The
Actually,
Joy-Cons.
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 Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're the Joy-Cons.
Something's so stupid all the time.
you
Yeah.
overwrote that thought
Look,
in my mind.
my thing doesn't actually sound any better than any of the things you said.
But yeah, I got to watch you guys. Well, I get to watch you guys play as I edit the videos, and it seems to be really enjoyable.
I think so. Yeah, like nothing that we encountered was like okay. So the basic concept, if anyone's not familiar, is that it's a co-op game where you play 2 people trying to break out of a prison, right?
Yeah.
And there's of course puzzles to solve, and you're kind of like progressing the story by like getting all the pieces and tools that you might need to break out. So there is a bit of like, how do you get it around the guard? How do you do this and that? And there are levels, you progress through it. But so far nothing has like been like absolutely frustrating. Like we've both like between the 2 of us, me and Shar, managed to like find out how to like progress a level or get the right to get the items together, that kind of a thing. And then we just got to a really kind of interesting part at the end of our playthrough where things are kind of picking up, the action and the tension is building. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for what comes next.
Me too.
I'm intrigued to see what your final thoughts are. I read a couple of not reviews but sort of like first thoughts, and people actually were kind of coming back saying like, they don't know how they feel about it. I trust your opinion more than I trust some goofus on the internet, though.
I've heard
So-
some really positive ones. Some people have said that it's probably the first contender for Game of the Year this
Okay.
this
Whoa.
early on.
And that-
Interesting.
Well,
But I
there's
mean, it's like
there's
the-
already a couple this year,
Yeah.
I think. But
But
Ni no Kuni 2 did just come out, guys.
when I
anime
was looking
games.
for content to make like the thumbnail and stuff like that, I did accidentally spoil a bit for myself,
Uh-oh.
which was inevitable. But it seems like it's a really good story, and I'm really excited to see it played out.
The trials of producing content. I'm going to say it right now. One of the 2 of those characters is probably going to die by the end. But
Well,
I'm
that would be
basing-
disappointing only because they've done that before. Spoilers.
I was gonna say yeah, like I just basing it on very very broad tropes.
I'm trying to. That reminds me of another co-op game. I want to say Army of Two or Kane and Lynch, because those are the only 2 co-op games that I can think of right now that they had like player choice character death, which I always thought was better than like solid static narrative death, where like your actions cause one of the characters to die.
I played through Army of Two. Was it with you, Dave? Did you and I
Yeah,
play through
we
Army
played
of
through
Two?
Army of Two together.
Army of Two is not a game you could make in 2018.
You don't think so?
2 private military contractors who go into foreign territory, kitted out with gold AK-47s and hockey masks, shooting brown-skinned foreigners.
Okay, counterpoint. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Damn it.
2017, I
Well,
guess.
they're a military team. As long as you're under the auspices of some sort of government, you can go and do whatever the fuck you want.
think
But
they're-
like it's Blackwater ain't cool anymore.
Wasn't like one of the Call of Duties was private military. The one with Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah, that's
Advanced
right.
Warfare?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still gonna play that.
They're also working on a new Bad Company, I think, which is basically
Bad Company's different. Bad
fuck
Company.
the government. Let's go
World War
rogue.
II, though, isn't it? Bad Company?
No, the original Bad Company was sort of like set in Russia, where it was.
okay.
It's basically the Three Stooges are given guns. Like it's like you're like they went off to Russia because there was some like brush fire war going on in one of the stands, and like these 4 goofuses they go AWOL because they want to steal Russian gold. Battlefield Bad Company
Right.
fucking rules.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. That game was great.
Three Kings, the movie as well.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a very clean smell. It's the thing one of the characters says to you when he first meets you. That
Pretty
game
good.
fucking rules. Best Battlefield game.
What game were we talking about originally?
A Way Out.
Okay,
Ni no
yeah.
Kuni.
I know, kidding.
It all begins
Harry
and all
Potter.
ends with Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say other than that. Like the gameplay is pretty familiar from Brothers, so if you were a fan of that game, I think you will definitely like A Way Out. There was some speculation on our part as to how the multiplayer would work if it was online, because there is a particular part where, this is not really a spoiler, but you have to look out. You have to look out for somebody, right? And you have to look out for the guard. And I had to give Char verbal cues as to when the guard was coming. So I'm thinking like, well, okay, does that mean that you have to have a microphone attached? And then if you have a microphone attached in this co-op game, that just opens the floodgates to whatever is on the internet already from people playing games on PSN.
So you can do it split screen or
there's only split screen.
Yeah, and
So,
it's like it's also like a cool cinematic split screen where like the line will move and adjust, and like it'll become single screen every once in a while.
Even if you, because were you and Char, I'm assuming, were playing, or were you playing on the separate PlayStations, or were you playing on the same PlayStation?
No, it was a couch co-op.
Okay, but you can also play it two people
online. So if you were a very lonely soul and had no friends to play with, you could play with a stranger on the internet.
Oh, would it still do the split screen even online?
Of course, yeah. I think it's a stylistic thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing I was saying.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
it
so
sounds like there's like maybe even like story moments where like the screen split kind of like comes into play.
Okay, because I was wondering if you played it on separate PlayStations, you would have your own screen. But yeah, that is kind of cool that they kind of work it into the narrative.
There's also a really cool co-op conceit that they did where if you buy the game, your friend can download the trial and then play the entire game with you.
That is pretty awesome.
It's actually kind of rad.
Yeah, so they just pop open the trial. Your friend who owns the game invites you to their game, and you can just play through the entire story.
Although you can do that with almost any PlayStation game.
Can you?
Yeah, you can play on your friend's copy as long as your friend is playing.
I thought that was only if you borrow it or something like that.
No, because I played with Metal Vince on Street Fighter V once, and he doesn't own a copy of the game. He's playing on my copy, but over the internet.
Huh. Okay. Well,
I don't know. I don't know how we managed to rig that together, and it was pretty like awful because it was like really poor connection and very slow updating, which is like just killed it for a fighting game. But it's possible. Yeah.
Huh. Then maybe it's not that special.
If they encouraged people to use it and did it themselves, then yeah, no, it's noteworthy.
It's still cool if they have that, even if it might be like more of like a Sony level feature.
Oh no, it also works on Origins, which is surprising because I would have thought that EA would put the kibosh on any situation where you only pay for half the game.
Oh man, Origins! I'll take game providers I haven't heard of in months for $500. Alex, God. Yeah, I'm excited to see how you and Char play through that. I want to hear how that all is. I think
we're getting out. I think we're going to get out.
Okay.
That's one thing.
There is a way.
Can you not? Because we thought we were going to solve that crime when we played Hidden
super
Agenda.
sassy. Can you not?
No, I only asked because like we thought that we were going to solve that crime when we played Hidden Agenda.
We eventually
and we didn't.
Did kind of
after the game spoiled
the
it for
sixth
us.
attempt.
Well, it was a hidden agenda. This is a way out. So one of them is a little bit more encouraging in your activities.
I mean, if you look at our Hidden Agenda playthrough, like in like an Into the Breach style, where like we jettisoned ourselves back in time to re-go through, then in that timeline we figured it the fuck out.
That's true.
We kicked its ass.
Depending on which one you watch first, if you go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait, Dave, until you and Char finish this to kind of like see how you think about it. If you think it's pretty good, I might even just say, Mike, you and I should maybe just play through this, like not even for any sort of content. Although Kelly, if you want us to make additional content on the same thing,
I'll put the stream in. You guys can get away.
No, it will be good to have more of us play a lot of the same games so we can have a more meaningful discussion at the Game of the Year cast.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be done school in a couple of weeks. I'm starting work for 8 months. And that means I can probably actually play video games again. So
nice.
I'm going to play some video games. I'm going to have some thoughts, some opinions. That's going to be really good.
That was the point of all the school, right? So you could go
back to playing video games. Yeah, I could go back to exactly where I was beforehand.
Yeah, we could do it and then have Kat and Steph heckle us the entire time for being awful friends and awful partners.
Yeah, that's just like every other time we hang out.
Just like that's just a regular hangout.
Yeah.
There's also a Dark Souls coming out soon, so you can join the elite of people who have played Dark Souls.
Don't tease me by saying soon. It's like 2 months away.
That's soon in 30-year-old years.
Oh God!
Here comes the ribbon. First of all, he's not wrong. Second of all, I am under the hope, Kelly, that you're gonna force me to play through that game because I've gone like over the hump where I'm just like that seems like a terrible idea. To all right, yeah, fine, I'll get embarrassed playing Dark Souls.
I'm interested to see how much you've been like spoiled by people saying how hard it is as I tell you how to beat an enemy, basically.
Oh yeah,
because like I want it to be an enjoyable experience for you, but it's like it's not as hard as people say it
well,
is.
I'm sure it's not. Like I have beat Dark Souls 2, so it's not like I'm coming in like a complete like this is not my goddamn Dark Souls cotillion. It's just
there's more iframes, so I think you might do better.
Something that I've noticed, while playing Bloodborne 2 is a lot of the times a lot of your problems can be solved by just taking a break. Like,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of fights you can get really, really frustrated at, and then just like quit the game and just be so frustrated and mad at the game, and then the next day you come back, you win in like the first or second try.
I mean, Dave and I know that too well with the Surge.
Yeah, if you watch the end of our Surge play, is that posted yet?
It'll come out today.
Today, okay, yeah.
Are you guys willing to talk about the Surge at all now? Because this has kind of been like a slow simmering thing for quite a while now.
I think, Kelly, the first time that we tried the boss fight, you probably played like against him like what, 20 times?
Yeah, the last boss, there's a recording of me trying to beat him for a solid hour, which I tried to edit down into something enjoyable, and then we came back like a month later.
Yeah.
And I had grinded to what I think is probably the highest I could grind in that game sensibly, and beat it in 5 minutes.
That's good.
The first attempt, and then I like halfway through, I realized like I'm getting hit by the same moves, but it's doing like 1/5 of the same damage,
Yeah.
and I'm doing like 4 times as much damage as I was doing before. I think I might have overground.
You might have actually done like over like that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find like a good spot, because like grinding only helps you so far in Dark Souls. I find like it's really more about learning
It's about
how to.
it's
Yeah.
about leveling yourself up versus leveling your character
Yes,
up.
you can still be killed by the first enemy if you fuck up too badly.
I think it's a very fine line to take, and I think From Software does such a good job on that with Dark Souls. It's the reason why even to this day you see people who are just still playing those games, because I think it was a couple of weeks ago someone did a no-hit trilogy run through of all 3 Dark Souls
Yeah, that's pretty
games.
sweet.
Awesome.
So it's like one of these things where it's just like, yeah, you can play that game like a level 1 naked guy and still win.
Mhm.
You just have to like really know in and out how the game works. I think that doesn't, from what I'm just hearing right now, that doesn't necessarily seem like something that you could do in the Surge.
No, you probably can. Like the enemies weren't unfair. Like they were
No.
they were on par with a lot of the Bloodborne bosses in terms of like difficulty. But you watch them and they have enemy patterns. Like I find this with a lot of like big franchises or like big popular games. A lot of people like deify the concept of the game. Like people are like, Dark Souls is hard, Metal Gear is complicated, and like people don't want to get into these series just because of the like.
Metal Gear is stupid.
Yeah, but like you play it from the first one and you're like, okay, nanomachines, I get it. You play Dark Souls and it's like, oh, dodge to the left, I got it. And you apply basic game design logic to all of these series, and they're just games.
Yeah, I mean, even outside of like games, there's like people who will ask like, where do I get started with like a band or something like that?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And the answer is always you just start somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
you just start doing it, and then you get to know more about it, right? Like,
Or like Game of Thrones. It's like,
Yeah.
just watch the first episode, and if you like it, keep going.
I mean, like you think about like anything that we liked from our childhood, be it like Simpsons or Star Trek or anything like that, right? You didn't start at the beginning of Simpsons and work your way up, or
Yeah.
ask people on the internet what the perfect episode to start on was. You just start somewhere, and eventually you get to know it all.
Bart's Elephant is a pretty good episode to
Yeah,
start.
it's such a good episode.
You gotta start on
That
Bart's
probably is
Elephant.
actually the best episode.
I would say it's maybe Bart's Elephant, maybe the NASA one, maybe the
Ooh.
Union one. Those are like the 3 really good ones. I almost want to go back and watch a couple old Simpsons just to sort of see if the magic's still there.
I think they do. I think that there are some of the older ones that didn't rely on being super topical. Like it's because the other problem with South Park is South Park, a lot of the episodes are funny, and then if you watch them like 6 months after their air date,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I remember when people were into that. That was weird.
Good luck going back 5 years and trying to figure out what a South Park episode is about.
Yeah, unless
I mean-
it's one of those like internalized story ones, like when Chef was brainwashed into having sex with kids.
Yeah.
But like you try to go to any, it's like, oh, Tom Cruise jokes. It's like, what was he doing around that time? I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember-
Was he in a bad Mission Impossible film? I forget.
I remember
Yeah.
when like people thought that the Obama-Romney election was going to be close, and I think they made 2 different episodes based on who won the
They
election.
did that with Obama and John McCain.
yeah.
Oh, maybe that
actually,
was what
which
I was
goes-
thinking
Which
of,
goes
yeah.
to show how
I mean,
far back.
Seinfeld did the same thing where one of their episodes, it was between Rudy Giuliani, and the other guy, and they made 2 endings
New York's
to an
largest
episode.
boy, Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know what we were talking about or why that was relevant anymore, but I just remembered that.
I was making the point of people being really reluctant to get into things they think are quote unquote complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, now that you've got all of the necessary equipment to play Dark Souls when it comes out remastered, no better time than the present to
And it's really
get into it.
Although it sounds kind of like a dick thing to say, it's really not that hard. Like, I mean, it's just that
No.
it's harder compared to other games.
And just perseverance. Like it's a lot of trial and error based like there's less intuitive things than you'd think, but you feel really good about yourself when you get through it.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you got through Dark Souls 2, there's nothing preventing you from getting through any of the other games.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the worst thing you can do is what I did on my first playthrough and just make a very suboptimal build where I basically like put points into everything because I was like, I want to cast this spell. Points. Oh, I want to use this shield. Points. Oh, I'm getting hit for too hard.
You start to realize that strength and vitality are significantly more important for almost everything.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of stamina, but for the most part, like more health and hit harder. That'll carry you through most of that game.
The one thing I ask for all of you is that when if and when I make this Dark Souls character, you guys can't give me any advice on optimal builds. Let me make my own dumbass mistakes.
Yeah, man, do it. And
you put everything into luck and just let it ride.
I'll let you choose your weapon.
I mean,
that's about it.
I've been doing a lot of research into like entertaining builds to watch that aren't just like Havel cosplays where you put on the biggest, strongest armor and walk through the enemies. Because I think like so many LPs have done just pick up a big shield and stand in front of the guy. But we'll see what happens when we play.
Well,
I'll clean up your builds. I'll like help you make it so that you can get to the end of the game for our online content that we're creating. But
we'll make it to the end of the game. Don't you worry.
With it,
whether we want to or not.
Strap on, boys. We're hell-bent for Berlin. We're getting there.
We tied you to Solaire and he dragged you to the fucking end of the game.
Mike, where are you at in Bloodborne right now, buddy?
Well, it's crazy because like my anecdote about coming back and trying a boss again. So after like getting really frustrated losing to Vicar Amelia, I kind of janked around some other areas in the game, came back, and I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fight her and just kind of get used to her patterns and do a couple runs of that, and then I'll try it for real. Then I'll like totally kid out and like go to town on her. So the first one, she kills me really quickly. Second one, I got so far into like my quote trial run that I realized at a certain point, like, oh my god, she's got like a quarter of her health left, and then I just went like berserker mode and beat her.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, so I got her. I moved on to the Forbidden Woods.
Oh yeah,
and it's fun. Like it gets that map is very, very big, and it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper and getting more confused. And I lost like 30,000 souls because of like, oh shit, here's the boss. And then the boss of that area is very, very difficult if you're not prepared. It's basically the three shadows of Yharnam.
No, you mean the Razgul or whatever?
Oh yeah, the Nazgul.
The Nazgul.
Yeah, so the three Nazgul kind of come out of nowhere, and I just got really messed up, and I'm like, okay, this is a good place to stop, and I haven't played since.
I've seen some streamers refer to that boss fight as Weathertop, which is pretty funny. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I saw a YouTube video of somebody doing it, and it looks very challenging. Like this person had they took a lot of hits, and it looked like they had a lot of luck, and they still managed to barely win.
I would say that you're on the part where the game really is about to open up. Once you get past the Nazgul, you're about to land in some shit. And I'm really excited to hear your point of view on that.
Yeah, the game does take a big swing.
That's interesting because because up until now it has been very, very Dark Souls like. Like I almost like in my head I'm calling it Dark Souls as I'm playing. Like I
would say it's more Castlevania. In gameplay, Dark Souls in like theme, it's definitely Castlevania.
I've never played a Castlevania, but I get a lot of the same themes of this, where like it's a shitty world. The people that are left in it are just so beaten down and broken, and you're just like one of the few. They're all like shocked that you have enough resolve to just like make it from area to area.
And this whole kind of like unanswered question of why each time you die you go back to a dream and then you wake up in the real world, but you know what layer of inception are we on in this? And like
I mean, the Surge was the most confusing one because like it wasn't like you were uploading your consciousness to like an AI or something like that. You're just a dude that dies and then wakes up in the med bay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe that was it. Maybe he just dies and like someone comes and gets him.
I was oddly satisfied by the ending of the Surge, though.
Oh yeah, no, it was like, real quality.
It came all the way around again in a way that I thought was pretty cool.
There's a part. I think there was a good like roller coaster of like, I love this game. I'm so sick of this shit. I love this game. I'm sick of this shit. Hey, they landed it.
The highs are highs, though, folks.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So you would suggest people play the Surge if they're kind of itching for something Soulsian?
Yeah, most def.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably, although a good game, probably on the lowest rank of Souls-like games. Because I'm thinking Neo is still, I think, a better game than the Surge.
But it's better than
Lords of the Fallen, absolutely.
Thank you. That's like,
Absolutely.
what was the other game these guys made? Yeah. So they're learning. That's something. They're getting better.
I think they were like, with Lords of the Fallen, they were like, how much of the paradigm can we break?
Mhm.
And then they were like, oh, well, maybe if we just make a Souls game that's in robot land, will be cool.
Yeah, make it not so similar. in a way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Much can
kinda
we
cool.
steal from Warhammer? Yeah.
The worst parts.
I've been playing. So Mike's playing Bloodborne. I've been playing the other PSN free game of the month, and I've almost beat it twice. It's called Ratchet and Clank.
Oh man,
y'all.
I actually, I put a little bit into Ratchet and Clank, and holy crap, if that game is not like surprisingly really good looking,
It looks so good. Like
I was blown away.
yeah, no, I had no expectations. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a Ratchet and Clank game. These games have been coming out for 15 years. I mean, what is it?
To be fair, like Ratchet and Clank has sort of been for that genre, which is a pretty nascent genre. It's sort of been the high watermark for a good little while.
On the Sony end, perhaps, yeah,
Yeah,
because
but-
like,
Oh my god!
Like it's like not beating like Mario Odyssey, but like what else? Like nothing is. Like I don't know. I've heard really good things about Ratchet and Clank almost since like it came out.
Is it like a collectathon platformer?
yeah,
I would compare it. I mean, Dave, you played more of it than I have. I would make a very strong comparison to Banjo-Kazooie
okay,
back in the N64 days. It's basically like you're
Uncut shit.
you're a protagonist who is kind of like a cute little character, and you meet a lot of cute little characters, and there's a lot of like kind of like wholesome jokes thrown out through like pretty constantly throughout the whole thing. It's like humor that's not trying too hard to like be edgy or whatever, but it's just like silly. Like I think the main antagonists are called the Blarg.
yeah.
Like I don't know, just
and
stuff like that.
you know,
That's good. I like that.
You play the cute character. You have the other little cute character on your back
Yeah.
who like sometimes acts on his own for levels and stuff like that.
My question is, why are you beating it a second time, Dave?
That's what I need.
Yeah,
I need
so
that clarified right now.
Is there stuff?
So let me answer your question about genre. So it's an action platformer collectathon, but it's also like a shooter because it's got like all these different weapons that you use. That's like the main like conceit or gimmick of Ratchet and Clank. 'Cause
It's
it's
Hells of Guns.
How's it guns to shoot, and they do silly things like turn enemies into sheep, or like you have like a disco ball grenade that makes them all dance, and this
Ooh.
like really fun stuff like that. And then basically there are the Omega versions of all these weapons, which you can unlock by getting collectibles, but you have to do it in the challenge mode of the game, which is their new game plus, basically.
Okay.
that's kind of cool.
And I just love this game. I beat it almost all in like 2 sittings or something like that. It's like,
Jesus, really?
yeah, like I got really into it.
It's fun, like basically playing Bloodborne and then going to that and having your character basically like the second you tap the square button for them to do an attack that not only connects like about a frame or two after you click it, but does enough damage to your enemy that it knocks them away.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it's kind of a good break after just getting your like shit turned in Bloodborne over and over and over.
I know
again.
it's like, I mean, I think it's a decent it's a decent level of challenge. Like there were parts that I died and stuff like that, but it's just like really satisfying because like, you know, you'll defeat your enemies and then they'll basically explode into like a shower of like nuts and bolts that then like swirl around your character almost like fish in Abzu or like, you know, like a school of fish and stuff. And like then you just get more nuts and bolts and other things like and it looks really crisp. It's like everything that a first party like Sony game like is capable of and should be. Like,
Yeah.
it's just really really well done.
I think like, I was just blown away just how good all the textures look. And
The production story is interesting because they were making this game as a way to promote the Ratchet and Clank movie, which I don't think if you guys remember that.
Did it actually come out?
It did.
Did like with a thud.
Yeah, and what happened was they apparently delayed the release of the game by 6 months or so because they were trying to change the marketing campaign or get a better marketing campaign for the movie.
Okay.
So imagine you're a game developer, suddenly you have all this extra time that you didn't think you had, and I think they just put it all into polishing it.
Oh, that's
really.
cool.
Yeah.
And you know, a weird aside, which has almost nothing to do with anything, but the voice actor for Ratchet.
Oh,
so when
yeah.
I was playing, I'm like, oh my god, this voice actor is the same voice actor that does Impulse, which is like the future Bart Allen from Young Justice. And I was so sure. I looked it up, but it wasn't. But it was the guy who did the other Kid Flash. Like I don't know. Like I said, it has nothing to do with anything. But I was so sure it was one of the Kid Flashes, but it was the other Kid Flash.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yes,
really-
there is a show called Young Justice with two Kid Flashes. That's right, kids.
That's a deep cut.
Are they
one
alternate
would say.
dimension? Kid
no,
Flashes?
one is the future great grandson of one of the others, I think.
There's future Kid Flash, kind of like this future.
Oh,
Trunks.
okay, so it's not alternate dimensions, but it's timeline.
Yeah. It's so every time time travel gets involved, janky stuff happens. But I think it's pretty non-important.
Of course, DC Universe has like time travel and parallel dimensions and everything's
and
in there.
multiverses,
Just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
Everything good under the sun. Speaking of parallel universes and futures and people coming back from the future to fight with swords, Mike and also Dave, you guys are both heavy in the throes of Dragon Ball Fighters. 2 new characters got released, I believe, today.
Yes, today.
Have you had any chance to fuck with the Brolly or the Bardock?
Mike has.
Yeah, so I actually didn't realize it was today until I logged on today, realized that I could not get a match, and then I realized in the lobby, every single person's avatar was either Brolly or Bardock. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Oh my god, did they come out today? And I just went on and I bought them. So I started to jank around a little bit. And so I think we've talked a lot about Dragon Ball, so I will kind of spare a lot of the details. Brolly, the man beast himself, is very big. He is very slow.
Big old boy.
Solid hunk of beef.
Yeah, and I'm, to be honest, like I'm by no means a good player, and I'm kind of struggling to figure out what his role is. As far as I can tell, he's sort of the opposite of a zoner, because he's a lot of heavy attacks that allow him to close the distance between him and his opponent. That also, like, he has what very few characters have in the game, which is armor, which means his attacks can't necessarily be stopped once they start.
Yeah, they usually have 1 or 2 hits that they can absorb, right?
So I found that there was some matches I was playing where I would just do a heavy from across the map, and I would quickly close in, and you'd see the flash of what happens when your opponent's attack attempts to stop your attack. So it's like, it looks like his attacks can plow through, but they are so slow that you can't even really combo into any of his special attacks. Because it just, by the time his animation completes, their character has popped out of the hit stun state and you can block them. So I don't know, it's weird. I'm sure that he does have a role and that people will find it out, but it's just, as a kind of more inexperienced player, I can't see it yet, but he is kind of fun to just smash and bash.
I don't know what his special moves are. But I mean, what you've kind of described there is kind of like a grappler archetype. So you have moves that get you closer to your opponents, where you might possibly be able to dunk them with a command grab.
Yeah. Well, he plays.
Which are usually not something you can combo into because it's supposed to be high damage.
Well, that's what Android 16's role is in that game. And Broly's a bit different in that his moves can't really combo very well. I think that I watched a couple of videos of people playing, and he can get some good stuff going if he got assists to help him out. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I think people will find a good way to use him, but it's for somebody who is more experienced than me to figure that out.
Yeah, he just probably has. I think he does have a different play style than some of the other characters, because there is kind of like a standard or like a basic Dragon Ball character play style that works for a lot of characters. Yeah. But Brolly, I think, is outside that mold in a lot of ways.
Which brings me to the exact opposite of that, which is Bardock.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like you're saying that there is that sort of Dragon Ball playstyle. Bardock is one of those characters that I feel like was designed a lot of Bardock's design may have came after the game was released, because people might have the game designers might have watched and seen what a lot of people were doing, and they've really sort of optimized Bardock for that playstyle. When you play with Bardock, everything, a lot of people have described it this way, but it's just everything just seems to work. Like he can string together a lot of hits really, really well, and he seems to just sort of fit that mold of your standard bread and butter.
Is he another Goku? I'm really curious.
No. He plays differently.
Is he more Goku than Goku? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
right
he
now?
doesn't, because he has actually very little ranged ability. His only ranged attack is he just shoots one little beam out from his hand that only one can be on the screen at a time. Whereas Goku has I think 8 different ways to shoot his Kamehameha and like a dozen ways to shoot other ranged things.
Mm-hmm.
But Bardock is really good. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best way I can describe it. But once you get close with him, you can string a lot of really, really fun, impressive stuff together. And it just really, really seems to... He combos very well, is what I'm trying to say.
They both look really good. We were watching the dramatic finishes before we started the podcast,
As
and
everyone should.
as everyone should.
Yeah.
Go look
These
up
are
Bardock.
pretty good.
Yeah, so Broly gets 2, which are just like him being beaten. I mean, there are no dramatic finishes for the bad guys winning at this point, because that's not how the show works.
Yeah.
It's less dramatic if that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
That is too bad. There should be like I know it wouldn't necessarily.
There is
There should be like a Frieza Krillin one.
There is a couple. There's there's Nappa killing Yamcha. There's I think Beerus beating Goku.
Frieza kills Krillin in an intro, but
Yeah,
not
I know. I saw that intro, but like, I
Mhm.
mean, like, if Frieza's fighting Krillin, it should end with like
With him
Frieza
blowing
just
up.
pulling
Yeah.
Krillin up and exploding him.
I mean, why not? That's already in the game. They can just rework it. Yeah.
I don't understand Bardock's thing. He has a flashback to Goku and then uses a single-handed command.
So it's like the beginning is you think that it's gonna be Frieza killing, because in the Bardock movie he charges at Frieza. Frieza like overpowers him very easily and just obliterates him. But in this one, it's just like, hold up, no, and then it's almost like record scratch. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna win this fight, and then he just charges at Frieza and beats him.
And it feels so long. Like it's like a minute of watching
Yeah.
this like anime play out.
I remember I was watching this as you guys were playing it through, and at first I thought it was like when Frieza beats Bardock. It's a cool sort of nod to like when Bardock dies in the movie. He like gets a vision of the future when Goku hands him his ass, and he's just like, well, my family will do it, and then dies. But in this time, it's like, no, wait, fuck that. He goes Super Saiyan
I'm
and
doing
fucking ices him.
yeah. No, it's cool. Like I liked Bardock's playstyle so much that I'm very strongly considering swapping Goku out for his dad.
It's going to be very interesting over the next couple of months before EVO, what characters are released. I don't even know what they're going to allow at the game. I mean, occasionally if a character is released like a week before or so, they won't allow it.
Yeah, I guess that's the question. Is there any sort of statement as to when the next set of characters is going to get released? And is it going to be before EVO? I guess probably. It's still a ways away.
Yeah, well, these two characters, so the game was released late January. Now it's late March. So, like, presumably, unless they really, really slow down, there's going to be at least one more.
8 characters, 2 at a time. That sounds like the end of every quarter to me. Wouldn't you think? If they're evenly spreading them out throughout the year.
when are they deciding to release Dio though?
Dio Brando.
That's who I'm excited for.
That would be like an awesome crossover guest character. JoJo in the Dragon Ball Z universe.
Yeah, no, I just want Scorpion.
No, it would have to be Jotaro. You have to get Jotaro with his hand in his pocket. That's just like,
I guess. I don't know. I feel
They've
like
already got a trench coat wearing hands in his pocket character.
you're right.
the new. I think the new part is coming out for JoJo soon, so they could just like do cross promotion with that, which I think might be it's JoJo. So it's the sexy one with the cutouts on all his clothes.
I read that somewhere. I mean, I'm not up to date with other ArcSys titles, but apparently one of the 3 ArcSys games is going to be at EVO isn't even released yet.
BlazBlue cross tag battle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the Persona characters in it?
Yeah, it's Persona. It's a crossover between 4 of their games. So it's BlazBlue, it's Persona, it's Under Night, In Birth, EX Late.
Hey, that game's awesome.
But it's just interesting that.
And then wait, what's the 4th one?
Ruby.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting.
Wait,
Yes.
the Brewster Teeth
Yes,
thing?
the Rooster
Holy
Teeth
shit!
What?
Wow.
Yeah,
Why?
What a time to be alive.
So wait,
Because it's popular.
so like Jessica Negri is going to be in a fighting game now?
Sure. I don't know anything about Ruby except the name is spelled stupidly, but
RWBY. Yeah. It's red, white, blue, and yellow.
Rubia.
I don't know. It came out like I always thought of associated with red versus blue because like I don't know, it was Rooster Teeth.
I think there was like a trailer for it at the end of
but
one
I
of the
think
seasons.
it's a real anime now.
Oh,
Whoa.
really?
What
I
if
think it's officially like recognized as like an anime.
Isn't it on Netflix? Or because I've seen that. I've seen
The Red versus Blue is on Netflix
Well,
now.
yeah, but like I've seen
Ruby was on Netflix for a while, but then now it's off.
I think it's on
Okay.
Crunchyroll.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
I don't know. We'd have to go to some sort of anime expert to figure it out.
That's what kind of makes I think BlazBlue cross type battle interesting because they're going to have some new characters that haven't been in fighting games.
But it's
before,
just
so.
interesting that Evo has announced a game that is not even released was going to be in the lineup, whereas they've kind of snubbed Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, which a lot of people.
I mean, they
hoped
like
was
it
they
gonna
like
be in.
good games.
Saw politics, bro. Saw politics.
There was a bit of gossip that released about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So people always talked about how like they were convinced that Disney had some hand in what was being done in this game. And somebody who I think worked on promotional material said that Disney specifically said they didn't want Marvel characters to be shown being beaten in the trailers and stuff
Cool.
for MVC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Huh, how about that?
How about that, guys? In a fighting game. And that's the reason why we're never going to have like Marvel versus DC Universe or whatever. It's because there would be too much between these two massive companies about like, oh, well, I don't want Batman to be beaten by Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's like, well, Batman gets beaten by Scorpion.
anybody can be anybody because it's a fucking game. It's
Yeah,
just-
the buttons you press determine who wins, not the lore.
If you can have Krillin beat up like a fucking god of destruction,
Yeah.
then you can have Batman beat up Superman.
Like, if you're so concerned about it, just have him fucking shake hands at the end of the match
Yeah.
and say, good game, but at least
Yeah.
make the gameplay
Yeah.
fun.
or like the dopey Injustice thing where they just get up after they've been knocked down.
Yeah,
Just, like,
exactly.
onto one knee or whatever just to show that they're still breathing.
This is another line in my manifesto I'm writing as to why all corporations should be destroyed.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's been a thing forever. Like when the Need for Speed games first came out, and probably even now, like
Wreck the
Mercedes.
cars, yeah.
Yeah, like this, or Mercedes is like, this color has to be this specific color because our cars would never show up as any other color. Like Lambo red was only allowed to be used on Lambos.
Yeah, and that still it's less egregious because you still like the newer Need for Speed games. You can get vehicle damage now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like in the older times where it's just like no, like Mercedes don't get damaged. Don't damage Mercedes cars in this fucking game. But like Need for Speed still sucks, and I think at least a bit of that. The last couple of Need for Speeds have been bad, dude. At least based on everyone that I follow and everything that I've read and heard. I don't play Need for Speed games, so don't come at me.
I think I watched a little bit of the recent one in a Let's Play, and it looks pretty. I don't know how it handles.
I've heard nothing but horrible things about the latest Need for Speed.
It was all racing games went downhill after Underground 2.
Well, no, everything.
Underground 2 was the pinnacle.
It's all downhill since Burnout Paradise, which, by the way, just got a remaster.
Someone tweeted on my timeline though that they think that's the worst Burnout in the series.
Well, I mean, like there is a holy war in the Burnout community between Burnout 3 Takedown and Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Because Burnout 3 Takedown, it was more pure. It was more about the crashes, while Paradise was just like a fun, good racing game that also included crashes.
Ooh, actually, no. The best racing game to date.
Diddy Kong Racing 64. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100% entirely. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone. You can't see it. Everyone's shaking everyone's nodding their head in agreement.
It's actually I think it's a Disney produced game, but Split Second was really fun.
Split Second was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was
It had a neat conceit.
I was a Crash Team Racing fan, CCR back in the day.
That shit's haram now.
Mario
Okay,
Kart
you can't talk about that.
Mario Kart 64. Like that
is actually a bad game if you go back and play
Oh
it.
no, it
No.
not man. You just gotta
Yeah.
find new twists to make it fun.
No,
like
I
the Mario
just gotta
Kart.
play it drunk. It's fine.
I think Mario 8 or 9 has like been probably the best one I
I
played.
heard. I've actually heard a lot of good things about the most recent Mario Kart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nuts and bolts.
Nuts and bolts. Yeah, Kelly was making fun of me when I was explaining Ratchet and Clank because he's like, "Well, nuts and bolts is just that thing from Banjo Kazooie."
Yeah. Haha.
That was a
Banjo
fun
Tooie?
game. That was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is a good game.
Was it an Xbox
okay.
release? What was that?
Xbox 360.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't for
Oh, wow.
everybody. Some people didn't like it. They're bad people. Hi, Kelly. I love you.
Someday your skin is going to peel off and we're going to reveal the alien that's underneath there, aren't we?
It's just a hive of liquor. Yeah.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank makes me feel like a kid again. Basically, is one of the reasons I liked it because like I remember all the
Came just in time.
Sony exclusive like platforming games I used to play like Crash and Spyro and Croc and like whatever the fuck was else happening back then in the 90s.
Oh, Medieval. Do you remember that one?
Medieval, hell yeah.
Oh god.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like isn't like the medieval skeleton. I think they're bringing that fucker back for something.
Yeah, they are.
Wasn't he? He was probably in that PlayStation All Stars battle.
No, like
Royale.
Yeah, he
like he
was.
was, and I also think they're making another game.
I think E3 it
because
was revealed that he's getting another game.
Okay.
we are bereft of ideas.
Well, I mean, people love that Crash remake, and I like this Ratchet and Clank remake. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone, this was a joke a couple of weeks ago. Someone put out a thing on Twitter that was like Spyro Remastered Trilogy, and everyone lost their shit
that'd be awesome.
until they found out the person who put it out was like IGN Antarctica, and people were just like, "No, this is a joke. Stop! Like this shouldn't have gotten 80,000 retweets. This was a goddamn joke."
Wait, aren't they actually making a Spiral game?
Not from what I've heard.
Oh, so that was a spoof?
That
Because
was a
Shar
spoof.
told me about that.
I think that was a spoof. Yes.
Spyro is also Insomniac. Oh yeah, I mean Ratchet and Clank is the same guys who did Overdrive, Sunset
Infamy?
Overdrive.
Yeah,
I
they're-
don't know. Maybe
aren't they
yeah.
the-
Insomniac games.
Aren't they the ones making the Spidey Man game?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, which I'm excited about.
Now I'm excited because I like this company now.
Spider-Man looks cool. Sunset Overdrive was fun. Speaking of giving old games their due, I got one last topic before we cut this off.
Mhm.
This was just something like in my Twitter video game world viewings. I found out that first of all, I found out that there is a World Video Game Hall of Fame. And second of all, I found out that the 2018 nominees were announced this week.
Boy, here we
And
go.
so I wanted to run this through you guys, and I also wanted to kind of run through the current list of inducted games and see how you guys all feel, and then maybe we can see
I will
who's,
find something to
who's
shit on
missing.
there. I will
Yeah.
find something I don't like in there.
So this is a list of 12 games that get in, that are possibly being inducted. Only a handful will. They've done this for a couple of years now, somehow. The list this year of 2018 World Video Game Hall of Fame finalists are Asteroids, the original Call of Duty, Dance Dance Revolution, Final Fantasy VII, Half-Life, the original John Madden Football,
Of course.
King's Quest, Metroid, Minecraft, Miss Pac-Man, the original, the number one stoner, Space War, exclamation mark, and Tomb Raider.
Wait, so how long has this been going on?
About, I think, 3 years. There's only about 16 currently inducted into the
So
Hall
I was
of
gonna
Fame.
say, like, what I thought that maybe a game would have had to have been out for like 10 years at least, but Minecraft only came out a few years ago, didn't it?
I mean, I'm sure I don't know their rubric. I'm sure it's basically just like a game that people liked.
I know for sports, there's like for sports Hall of Fames, you need to have been retired for a certain amount of years in order to have eligibility.
Listen, we're video games. We don't have time for waiting.
we're all gonna be dead soon. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is like crazy because I think it was like Velvet Underground got added like the year before the Red Hot Chili Peppers did, and I'm just like, that doesn't make sense in my head. But anyway,
John Madden football.
John Madden, eh?
I
The
don't-
first one?
I don't know about Call of Duty only because I feel like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 might have been
Well, I mean, like you're right in that like Call of Duty I don't think is the one to pick. I think there should be maybe one of those, and I think the most important one would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I would
And
say
that was the one. Like I know Modern Warfare 2 is better than Modern Warfare, but Modern Warfare set up like the entire genre of first-person shooters for like over a decade.
Yeah.
Like only now with this like battle royale shit are we kind of getting out from that.
I guess, but Modern Warfare 2 was the first one with the multiplayer, like it basically it came up with that blueprint for what multiplayer shooters games were from that point until we basically have gotten into this battle royale stuff. So it was
Modern Warfare did all that. Like Modern Warfare set up the perk system. Modern Warfare
But
set everything up.
Did Halo come out before or after Call of Duty?
Halo came out before.
and
Modern Warfare
that-
came out in 2006. Modern Warfare came out in 2006. Halo 1 came out in 2001.
Because I think Halo set the standard for what a multiplayer first-person
it
shooter
did,
should
and
be.
I think Halo has to have already been in there.
I was gonna say, if you want me to read the 16 games
Yeah.
currently inducted, I can go and do that to give you a feel for what this all looks like.
Wait, no, I don't want to lose the first ones that you mentioned, though.
Yeah, let's go back. Okay,
Okay,
so I think that if we're gonna pick a Call of Duty, it'll be Modern Warfare 1 or 2.
I mean,
So
you
Call of
don't
Duty-
have to pick a Call of Duty. You can
He
pick.
also makes a good point.
Medal of Honor Allied Assault. There we go.
Hell yeah, health packs and Juno Beach.
I think DDR needs some love.
I could see that. It's a bit of a dark horse candidate, but
But I think it's in the zeitgeist already.
And it hasn't changed in 20 years. It's still jumping on a pad in an arcade with some friends.
Yeah.
And trying to show your date how cool you are, and then getting exhausted 2 seconds into the song.
showing how in the worst possible way how cool you are.
Yeah.
Hot take, but Asteroids actually a shitty game. Like, not actually fun.
Well, it's a product of it's a product of its time. Like, yeah, it's not going to be good
It's
now.
infuriating.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's just like slowly drifting from one side of the screen to the other and hitting a rock. Like,
And I guess that kind of comes down to like,
Oh, no, you're thinking.
like
Wait.
that is Asteroid.
Oh, I think I was thinking of
Defender.
yeah, the one where the asteroids are like coming down to
Missile
Earth.
Command.
Missile Command.
Yeah, that one
That's
sucks.
a much better game.
I hate that one.
Missile Command's fun. It's got the track.
You got to predict things, and I hate predicting.
I mean, like by that rubric, then Space War should have no place on this because Space War is more or less just a modified oscilloscope game. Like it was made on scientific instrumentation.
Yeah, fuck science.
Yeah, we're anti-science here.
Absolutely. Jesus
Evolution all the
way.
Wait, no.
No,
Creationism, that's the one.
So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to read through the inductees, and I want you guys to pick 2, and then I want to
Okay.
hear what your 2 are, okay? I think I've got my 2, but I want to hear yours. So it's Asteroids, Call of Duty, DDR, Final Fantasy VII, Half-Life, John Madden Football, King's Quest, Metroid, Minecraft, Miss Pac-Man, Space War, and Tomb Raider. All right, everyone got an idea who their 2 are?
Yes.
I can read them again if you would like.
One
No.
last.
I'm sure the viewers won't love that.
Yeah, edit this out, but read it one
Okay,
more
all
time.
right, Val.
Actually, no,
I'll let this out.
I got it. All right,
Yeah, I got
All right, we're
mine.
back after reading that through 8 times. Everyone forgot what their names were. We had to just go through it until we all finally figured it out.
All right, Dave.
Dave, first up on the docket.
Half-Life.
Yep.
It's also on my list.
Also on my list.
Yeah, like that I think was one of the most influential modern.
It basically
games.
kind of like completely changed the way that you would. I mean, I don't want to like say like give it too much credit, but like it really kind of like changed the way you could think about video games as a storytelling medium.
Yes.
Like within like it no longer needed for you to do a thing and then for you to like sit down and have like walls and walls of text like giving you the exposition, then like play the thing now. Like the story was happening as you played it, and that is a thing that was never really done before Half-Life.
And it spawned not only the best expansion pack ever made for a game, which is Opposing Force.
Hell yeah.
It also spawned Counter-Strike, which is still like one of the most popular multiplayer games of all time.
It also
Getting teens to say the N-word on the internet all the way to 2018.
it's not on my list, but it also was a really good game for like up and coming designers to have something to use as like a modding interface.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Like the what was the engine?
Gary's-
The Source engine?
Yeah, Gary's Source Engine.
The Source
Gary's
Engine was
mod.
Half-Life 2. Before
you're
that,
right,
it was something else. But yeah, I want to say like I got super into playing Half-Life 1 mods when I was like in high school, and from what I have read, like the Half-Life modding community like started a lot of careers.
Yeah,
It was the Hammer engine.
It opened a lot of doors
Maybe?
though, just for things that we now kind of take for granted in the video game, is like world.
My second choice is Tomb Raider, actually.
Ooh.
And,
Really?
I think it's
That's
just
on my list.
Yeah, I think it's actually just important as a cultural touchstone because, like, I think it's really. I know everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're getting the movie now," but it's like it's really hard to explain to people that like U2 had like a backdrop for one of their tours that was like included images of Lara Croft. Like
Mhm.
it was a different time, and
It was like Tomb Raider might be one of the most 90s things I can think of.
Oh, absolutely.
At least like the original Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
It's also one of the first games that wasn't like the female version of a male character, and
Yes.
the gameplay of it was drastically different from any other game that was out at the time.
yeah, and I'll even go as far to say that I don't think the gameplay holds up now.
Oh no, it's like a puzzle platformer.
It's like a puzzle platformer with like there's all sorts of weird mechanics like having to hold buttons down to grab on the ledges
Yeah.
and stuff. But I think it definitely had interesting worlds, interesting locations, a really cool character, and huge cultural impact.
Yeah. So my second one was be Final Fantasy VII, because that sort of to me kind of broke open the idea of expectations for like how effective video games can be to tell stories. Like in a similar, sorry, I guess in a different way than what Half-Life did, but I guess like the level of story that you could tell, they kind of showed like, I don't know, just it brought to life a world in a way that video games had not done before.
I mean, like you could argue that like JRPGs existed before FF7, but like I think like what Final Fantasy VII did is it provided sort of like a very open, expansive, interesting world, and it broke that for the Western audience.
I get because before that, like they were pixelated, and that can be a bit of a barrier. Like, oh, if I can't really see a character, I mean, looking back now, these characters were like blocks stacked upon blocks, and you had like some triangles for Cloud's hair.
But they were groundbreaking at the time, and I think it's really impressive what they did with the technology they had as well. You know,
Yeah, I mean, you being able to actualize this world that they had created to a level that had never been done before, and kind of set the new standard for what we're expecting when we want to come up with this immersive new place.
I mean, I would to agree with you. I would argue that in a lot of ways, Final Fantasy VII was maybe like the killer app for the PlayStation.
Oh yeah, like
the PlayStation had a lot more and a lot better games than the N64.
Twisted Metal.
Hell yeah! You're like, don't joke. Twisted Metal fucking rules.
Yeah.
but like Final Fantasy VII might have been like one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Just things, capital T, for the PlayStation.
I agree.
Mine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my list had Tomb Raider
Yes.
for all the reasons said, and I think I am gonna go with DDR. I don't know if there's any big rhythm game before it, but like rhythm gaming now is still huge. Like games that like Persona constantly has rhythm games coming out. They're
Yeah, they do.
like you see people doing speed runs of rhythm games on their phone. Like it's a huge thing, and like DDR is still around as well. And I think without like whether it was DDR or something before it, like without the the introduction of rhythm games, like we wouldn't have a lot of the stuff that we have now.
And they tricked our generation into purchasing all these crazy peripherals for rhythm games.
And it tricked us into doing physical activity when we go to the arcade.
Couch, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't have Rock Band without DDR.
No.
And even though Rock Band is still kind of in a lull, like that was an early aughts phenomenon, and it will probably come back in some way in the future.
You can't even really have like the Wii without DDR, considering the normie way people use Wii's, right?
Yeah. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. It's a good point.
Wait, the normie way that people use it?
Oh yeah, because I mean, like actually standing up and like swinging your arms to bowl and stuff. Whereas like anytime I've seen like real gamers use Wii games, it's just been sitting down and
you just
like
need to find the angle that you need to twitch it.
Yeah, no, they've just gotten the GameCube, whatever the
Try to tell me to get off the couch, will you? I'll show you, boss.
Yeah, I remember when my grandmother got her Wii. She would like tell me like you got to stand up to do it, and I'm like I'm good, and then I would just like she'd be like full swinging to play the tennis, and I would like flick it, and my character would still do the same momentum.
One of my friends giving herself tennis elbow playing Wii tennis. That's just like
that's a fucking tragedy.
She swung so hard with that Wii tennis remote extension that it actually like injured her elbow.
I still think the best thing to come out of the Wii is just long compilation videos on YouTube of people throwing their Wiimote at their TVs and breaking them.
Just the best.
Fuck yeah. So for my second one, my first one was Half-Life. For my second one, I was like kind of back and forth on two. My runner-up that I didn't pick was Space War, because you have to have a respect for your past. Space War was kind of like the first thing that really started this game. It is the first video game, if you don't include like the tennis actual oscilloscope stuff that came up before it. But I picked Metroid. I'll keep it quick because we're kind of running long, but Metroid is a game that spawned an entire genre of games in that like Metroidvanias. Like you still hear the term Metroidvania incessantly now.
I believe in that compound now, and there's another game that it contributed to the genre.
There ain't no Vania games, Dave. I've never played all of the original Metroid. There was some issues with it. It was still like such an amazing proof of concept. It introduced tone into a game in a way that not a lot of games had done, especially Nintendo games had done beforehand. And it was the father to Super Metroid, one of the best games ever made.
It also kind of did the same thing that I mentioned about Tomb Raider, but it was a trick at the end that tricked young boys into realizing they'd been playing as a woman the entire time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Metroid was cool because it, on the surface, at very first glance, it's just a regular platform. It's Mario, but you get a gun. But it ended up like when you start getting into it, it's not that at all, and it's something totally new and different. And it really, really opened the door for like this new type of game. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I want to read you the 16 currently inducted, and then we're going to end this because we're already running like an hour 10.
Okay.
All right. I want to hear you just quick yay or nay is whether you think this is the right decision or not. So Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Yay.
Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GTA 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Halo Combat Evolved.
Yes.
Yes.
Legend of Zelda. Original
Yeah.
NES.
Yes.
Original NES?
Original NES.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
all
it's no
right.
adventure, but
Oregon Trail.
yeah, for kids to start playing.
I never actually played the really old one, but yeah, okay, fine.
I got memories from it from elementary school.
It's
Original
okay.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
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 Pokemon Red and Green.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Red and green?
It was Red and Green in Japan.
yeah.
It came out like a year before it came out.
It would have
in
been our
America.
equivalent of red and blue.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
Americans can't see the color green.
Yeah,
Little known
true.
fact.
Color blindness. Pong.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's like the birth of games. Like,
Pretty much.
Not Space Wars.
It's the birth of games for non-nerds.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. The Sims.
Yeah.
no.
Really? The
Really?
original Sims?
I think original Sims were important, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I don't really see how it's like who else really jumped onto that genre, and then how has The Sims really evolved since then? I don't know if it really
I don't
is.
know.
I don't even
Like, if the Sims never existed, I wouldn't be like, oh man, where would we be without.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe it hasn't had like a major effect on like different kinds of games now. Like there were theme games before, there were theme games after. The thing I think about The Sims is how it was one of the first games to break into a popular cultural zeitgeist.
There's also like
I
all
had,
of the game dev simulator and all the like other simulator, like just
I think
controlling
it could also have just been like maybe between The Sims and Minecraft, two of the most popular games that I have just never ever cared about. And maybe it's just because it's not for me, and maybe it's just like I need to concede that just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not good.
It's like it was maybe one of the first video games I ever had like my parents talk to me about kind of thing, and I feel like that was important. I
remember trying to convince my mom to let me buy the Hot Date expansion because I thought I would see nudity in the game.
It's so bastardized now by like.
I mean, like several of our partners are going to be mad at us for talking shit about Sims, but yeah,
you guys are talking shit about it. I think it's on. It's supposed to be
into
on
it.
there.
Yeah, Sims are good.
I don't know. I'm an A on the Sims, but it's not for me.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the original.
Yeah.
And Knuckles should be on there.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like if they were doing this right, it would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but whatever.
I forget Tails.
Space Invaders.
Man, you gotta pay homage to the king.
Basically single player Pong, but okay.
It's the bulwark of the arcade era. Street Fighter 2.
Yes, for sure.
Super Mario Bros. Yes.
Yeah.
Tetris. Yes.
Yeah.
And World of Warcraft.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
There has been nothing before. I mean, like RuneScape.
No.
I think like
that's the thing. It's like
okay, that's the only reason I have a caveat is that like Ultima Online should probably be on there.
Ashran's Call should definitely make an appearance.
Let me tell you guys about a game called Meridian 59.
No, but I'm being real though. Like Ultima Online was actually groundbreaking for all this shit. So.
Like there were definitely MMOs before it. It's just the one that's...
because like they already had this very, very well established universe that they were like had they not had that, it would not have taken off the way it did at the beginning.
It wasn't the first, but it was probably the best.
Let me tell you guys about MUDs.
Multi-user dungeons?
Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
Is it Dwarf Fortress? Is that one of those?
No, this is pre-Dwarf Fortress.
Oh, okay.
A game called Rogue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm intrigued in a weird rubbernecky kind of way to see what actually gets put in.
They only pick 2 each year?
I don't know what they do. They pick some because like apparently Final Fantasy VII's been on the list for like 3 years in a row and hasn't won it yet.
Probably do.
Yeah, it'll probably make it eventually.
It's good just to be nominated.
Yeah.
I am curious about Minecraft. Like, I feel like we gotta wait. Minecraft might be a bit of a wait and see. Like, I think it'll eventually be there. I don't know if it's
man. Minecraft's done some shit though that like no other game has done. Like,
I feel like you can see when a game is going to be like influential. I mean, it's been influential. It's already should be on there because of the things that it's done. But
the thought in my head was like, is there ever going to be a Minecraft 2?
Fortnite.
What? Oh, you mean that base builder?
Do you mean like a sequel to Minecraft or like a game as big as Minecraft? Because I stand by what I just said.
Yeah. You're right.
There most definitely was, but there's no arguing that Minecraft did some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like it's the weird thought where like if the Fortnite trend continues for the next year or so, like Fortnite will make this fucking list probably relatively soon.
I would love it if there was a 2019 write-in campaign for Fortnite, the best game of all time.
All right, we should cap it off. This is Super Hopped Up for a podcast about video game history. I am your host, Chris Norris-Jones. We are on Stitcher, iTunes, wherever podcasts are held. We have a Discord, bit.ly/hoppedupdiscord.
Correct.
Hell yeah. We got an email, superhoppedup@gmail.com. We got a Facebook group. Come find us. We have a dope-ass YouTube channel. We've just started putting up a new series, A Way Out. Kelly and Dave have just finished going through The Surge. A lot of really cool shit going on up there. That should be popping and locking.
And our Wolfenstein 2 LP.
Oh, that's true.
I keep watching those and like kind of like trying to find the moment when you guys get to the point that I really want to hear your reactions to, which I'm very excited for.
They're so close.
It's coming.
Yeah. A lot of really cool shit up on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, etc., etc. And if you want to go ahead and tell your friends about us, Super Hopped Up, and the podcast, or our friends Hopped Up East, then yeah, we'd be very, very appreciative. Gentlemen, final thoughts.
Metal Gear Solid has to be a lock for 2019 Video Game Hall of Fame. Like it has to. I mean, maybe not 2019. It's gotta be there. Metal Gear Solid.
What if Metal Gear's bad?
Actually,
I think it is.
Okay.
But no, MGS
2. Like that's
no.
MGS 2 is the best.
No. If we're gonna put any game from Metal Gear Solid in the Hall of Fame, it's gonna be Metal Gear Solid 1. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be Solid 1, but
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 was a time traveler.
It's a motherfucking gem.
You want to talk about a write-in campaign?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write in 2 for every single one.
You replace any of the current day political members with any of the characters in MGS2, and it still
Hail
works.
Mary that Hideo Kojima threw in 2001 to predict the exact political climate of 2018.
He made an ending to a game that in 2001 everyone didn't know what the fuck was going on, but in 2018 you can look at it and be just like, oh wow, that actually happened.
I do appreciate that he's trolled the entire world by releasing a demo disc where you play as Solid Snake and then having the rest of the game not include him, pretty much.
It's the best Metal Gear game.
No.
No,
All right, final thoughts, anyone else?
that was it.
That's it?
That's all I got.
All right, you heard it here first. Metal Gear Solid 2 is the best Metal Gear. See you guys all again next week. Peace out. Love your mother.
One of those games has to be on